As Corey mentioned, this is a fundraising banquet. Most of you have donated generously already to this cause, and I think as you'll see tonight, the value is really there. We have a great product. The women's and men's team are very connected. The student athlete experience is really amazing, and so we thank you all for that. But we just wanted to be very clear about certain things that we need to spend on. The women's team is fully funded, meaning most of the day-to-day is paid for by the university, yay. That includes my salary, Coach Tyler's salary. Does not include Pat for either team. We get some Nike apparel. It's very limited. A uniform every 3 years. That kind of thing. Shoes maybe every year. And essential program elements. So for the team, that means in-region travel, such as like preseason tournaments within so many miles, Ivy League travel, hotels, food, officials, etc. And there are a lot of things that aren't covered though, and so these are the bells and whistles that really make our experience here really wonderful. And so Sam has this up here, golf carts for injured players. They don't do golf carts anymore. They felt like it was liability. They do little like scooters now. But if you get injured and you have to drive around in one of those, we have to pay for that. A big one this year, so this is one of the big things for us. Both the men's team and the women's team are going on foreign trips this year. We get to go to Italy and Slovenia. The trip looks amazing. It's really, really exciting. We're going over intercession. And that trip's going to be about $50,000 for the team to go. And we're super excited about it, but it's something that is definitely not covered by the university. So Pat, he's been a huge bonus for us for the last 2 years, and his stipend is not covered, and so the men's and women's team both pay for him to be a part of our program. Tyler, when he goes out recruiting, a lot of you guys were recruited by Tyler, and so when you see him at tournaments, that's coming out of our friends account. Out of region travel, 2 years ago we went to San Francisco. It was an awesome tournament, and we got to meet up with a lot of alums. A lot of our alums are in California. That was about $30K. That came out of our pocket as well. We got these amazing team rooms. I know the freshmen and sophomores are like, we never knew a life before team rooms, but really it was really bleak. And you had to share a locker room with like every single staff member that you had. So that was about $20K to get the team rooms and then the wonderful graphics that are up at the team room. Spring travel, official visits. There's a new rule this year. I can give juniors official visits, so everyone gets official visits now. A new car, you got a new car. Chocolate milk, Gatorade. Volumetrics is huge for us for scouting and stuff, and then luckily we have had a lot of success, which means a lot of bling. And for 3 years we've gotten rings for the girls. This past year was about $7,000 for rings. So there's a lot of expenses that we don't necessarily have to have, but it makes our time here a lot more rich. For the men,
basically everything for the men. Just so I think one of the things that we try to open up and just be clear about here, Princeton, when you hear about Princeton, if you're not familiar with it, Princeton seems very regal and prestigious, which it is, and I think conceptually it seems conjoined with like oozing amounts of money. And so I think my friends, when I came here and I was saying that we were non-funded, had to fundraise, they were surprised by that. And so I think part of our job in expressing in these meetings and in letters and stuff is saying the women are funded sort of essentially, but so many of the things that they do to make it special needs fundraising. And so certainly for a lot of the people in the room, but certainly for a lot of the families that are not in the room, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that give the kids backpacks and experiences and all kinds of stuff. So for the men, we're a non-funded program, so everything that we do needs to be fundraised. So our travel, meals, officials, our EID membership, recruiting. Last year we spent $150,000, and that would be sort of what we need to spend this year plus the foreign trip. Just to give you a sense, the women last year raised $65,000, spent $73,000, so they were short about $8,000. Talking about being short? Or? Okay.
You're in the
red.
In the red. The men a little bit worse, right? Raised 100,000, spent 150, we're at 48,000 in the red. So luckily, in some of our thicker years, we've raised a bunch of money and we have money in that pool, so we sort of dip into the red, we can kind of go into that, and then in some of our more robust years, we can kind of put some money back into those accounts. So the nice thing is that we have some support from administration that, like, if you go into the red, I always thought you got like locked up and carted away. It's not how it works. They just sort of slap you on the wrist and say, raise some more money. So we started doing this banquet about 9 or 10 years ago, and with that, we've been growing quite a bit. I should note on the men's side, we started a men's endowment, which is also why some of our giving has been sort of pushed in that direction, which hasn't made our annual funds as high. But the men's endowment is growing, and it's upwards of about $600,000 now, which kicks off a nice return. The women are thinking about starting an endowment, which would be an exciting thing. They're on the verge of getting that going. If you're interested in that, so we can give you more information. But the endowments are really nice because they're lumped in with Princeton's, I think it's $25 billion or something like that, endowment, and so it guarantees a certain amount of return, and that's a really great opportunity as we think about being here for 20, 25 more years, something like that. Just perpetuity, and so you have those kind of things covered. Oh yeah, so this picture I wanted to show. We were talking earlier about the team rooms and how exciting they were, and I'm pretty sure that Mark Putman and Lauren can talk about their experiences, how they changed before practice, probably on the court, just came over in their clothes. Even up until a couple of years ago, we didn't have a space of our own, which is really not a Division I thing, and that's just what we sort of dealt with here. And then getting these rooms, the rooms were actually paid for by Princeton. The 20 grand was for the graphics. But the graphics make it such a beautiful thing to be a part of, and you come in there and you see some of the legends of yesteryear and the legends of the current legends. And it's just it's really fun. So I wanted to show this one video, hopefully it will work, and show the excitement of the team room.
Oh, stress. Oh, stress.
First time
Yes. You should love it more.
I think it's really cool. We were talking at a meeting earlier today about when you see the excitement or the enjoyment of what some of these gifts can do. I mean, the guys and girls get to every day they walk into those rooms and they're filled with kind of energy and excitement before they go out into practice or into a game. And I didn't go to Princeton, but from what I hear, it's a tough school, reasonably tough school. And so, you see, it's hard, right? They come from engineering class or from bio class or whatever, and they get there, and we ask them to sort of leave it at the door and to switch to turn on the switch, and now it's volleyball time. I think having a space like that is an amazing way to do that. And that's from the generosity of a lot of people in the room. So seeing that is kind of a really exciting thing. All right, let's see what's next. Yes, so. Okay. So we wanted to obviously sort of let you know what the money goes for, and then thank a lot of people in the room and sort of let you know where we are right now. So we'd like to thank a lot of families, but it goes to more than just people who give dollars and cents. A lot of families in this room and that are not in this room host us when we're on the road. Claire mentioned us going to California and that senior's house or that guy's house, some random guy who's somehow affiliated. We keep a lot of affiliates. We're affiliated to our team. We keep them if they have a nice house. But a lot of families host in California, New York, Chicago with a meal or with a place to stay, and not only is it a great opportunity to not pay for a hotel, which is great, but it also sort of has a chance to show a window into what that person's life. You see pictures of them when they grew up, kind of on the mantle. I know a couple years back, I don't know if Corey or the seniors were there, but we went to play NYU, and we went to my family's house in the West Village, and it was just great for them to kind of see the room I grew up in and some pictures of me as a kid, and I think it really connects when you see where someone grew up. So to the families that host, that's a really big thing that doesn't show up in a numbers stat, but it's very much appreciated. But if you see here just a general sense of how many families gave, we have a lot of families giving, and there's two sort of components to this. We obviously, I grew up in New York City, and a lot of people would ask for money on the subway, and they would say every donation matters, We like the kind of jingles, but we prefer the kind that folds. That was kind of the New York City slogan back in the 80s. And so, sort of similarly, every donation matters because having everyone involved, 100% participation, really feels special. But the ones that fold, so to speak, with the more zeros at the end, are just incredible for what they allow us to do. And so I think an opportunity to thank everyone that participated, which is everyone in this room, and a lot of people that are in this room, but then also to recognize certain families that give quite a bit. To give you a sense just of the landscape, what we've done over the last several years, you can see 2014, 15, 16, 17, what we've been able to raise at this event. And the grand total for this year, 2018, comes in at $60,000, which is great. It's not quite what we've done in previous years, but it's still very, very good. And so we want to make sure that the tone is hit, that we want to say thank you for all the generous donations. But we also want to explain sort of where we are on the timeline of possible donations. So the last few years, TAG, if you're not familiar with TAG, Tiger Athletics Give Day, it's on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. The last few years, we've raised $100,000 in that event and $100,000 at this event. And that's been tremendous. And we won the event last year, winning $30,000. I still have the $30,000 check in my room. It's this big thing. It's awesome. Oh, no, so just to kind of give a barometer sense of where we are, we want to say thank you, but also, you know, if there are other opportunities to give and get excited, it will be for TAG. And that, obviously, we're looking for, you know, if you have big donations, those are great, but the fun part about that one is everyone that gets involved. We won, I think, the participation one, and I believe Corey's cat gave some money. I'm pretty sure, you know, there's a lot of Pat, there were so many Schwarens that gave money. I don't know where Pat had all his family, but Pat was there just making up cousins and stuff and giving $20 on each person. So TAG's a really fun event, and it's coming up in November, so we hope that you can be a part of that. But I would like to just do a round of applause and thank everyone that gave to this great event. So thank you.